Okay, let's just dive right in. If you're in the real estate world, you know the conversation is everywhere. Disruption, evolution, brand new models. It feels like the ground is constantly shifting under our feet. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful argument that kind of reframes this whole debate and puts the future of the industry right back where it belongs, in your hands.
And really, it all boils down to this one single crucial question. It's the one being asked in boardrooms, at every industry event, and probably over a lot of cups of coffee. What is the future of the multiple listing service? Now, it's not a simple question, but man, understanding it is the key to navigating everything that's coming next. So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the shifting landscape, then we'll redefine the true core of what the MLS even is. After that, we'll pinpoint the real drivers of innovation, look at how the profession itself is evolving, and wrap it all up with how you can actually help shape what's coming. All right, first up, the shifting industry landscape. We are smack in the middle of a transition period, and that, as you know, always brings new challenges and some new players to the game. And this isn't just some academic theory. If you've been to any industry event lately, you know it's absolutely buzzing with this exact topic. The real conversations, the ones in the hallways and at the dinner tables, they're all about this debate over where the industry is heading. And a ton of that buzz is being driven by some major players who are creating their own systems. I mean, you've got Compass and Redfin with their private display agreements, basically creating these exclusive channels. Zillow has its preview program for listings before they even hit the market, and Realtor.com has its own take on that too. These are all new models, and they're all challenging that traditional, centralized way of doing things. But here's what's so fascinating. What's the one thing all these disruptors have in common? Despite all their new bells and whistles, every single one of them still recognizes the foundational, institutional strength of the MLS. It's still that central source for accurate, historical, and deeply local data. I mean, that's a huge statement about how important it still is. So that brings us right to our second section, the true core of the MLS. And the argument we're looking at here is that its core value, well, it might not be what you think it is. This right here, this is the fundamental reframe. We get so caught up in the technology, the platforms, the data feeds, but if you go back to its roots, at its heart, the MLS was never designed to be a product. It was created to be a service for real estate professionals. And this illustrates that difference perfectly. A product-focused view zeroes in on the what, the platforms and the tech. But a service-focused view, that centers on the why. It's all about enabling cooperative competition, making sure there's transparency, and ultimately focusing on the consumer. That's where its real power has always been. This new way of thinking naturally leads to our third point, which is figuring out the real drivers of innovation. So if the MLS is a service and not a product, then what, or maybe who, is actually pushing this industry forward? And there it is, the core idea. The data in the MLS doesn't drive innovation. The people do. Think about that. The data is incredibly valuable, of course, but it's just a tool. The data itself doesn't innovate. It's the people using that data, the professionals out there, on the ground. They are the real engine of progress. So when we say people, who are we really talking about? Well, we're talking about realtors, but defined not by a system, but by these core qualities. We're talking about resilience in a tough market, adaptation to new tech and new client needs, that pure, simple drive to succeed. And maybe most importantly, an ethical approach to humanizing what can be a really complex process for people. Which leads us to a pretty important reality check. Acknowledging all these strengths doesn't mean things are just going to stay the same. In fact, it's the very reason we have this next section, an evolving profession. Let's be perfectly clear on this. Change isn't a possibility, it's a certainty. The MLS is going to evolve. And because of that, the role of the realtor is going to evolve right along with it. The two are completely connected. You can't have one without the other. So if change is going to happen no matter what, that brings up the most important question of all. What's our role in it? And this brings us to our final section, which is all about shaping what comes next. This is the call to action. This is the whole point. Given that realtors are the true drivers of innovation and that the profession is definitely evolving, it is absolutely critical, non-negotiable really, that they have a seat at the table where all the decisions about the future are being made. And it really just boils down to these two simple but incredibly powerful steps. First, it's not enough to just be invited. You have to actively go out and get that seat at the table. And second, once you're there, you can't just be a passive observer.
You have to take an active role. You have to be part of the conversation that shapes what comes next.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. The evolution of the MLS. That's a given. It's going to happen. The only question that's still open is this: who gets to shape it? Is it going to be shaped by outside forces or by the dedicated professionals who use it every single day to serve their communities? The choice and the opportunity? Well, that's up to you.